This is that exciting dude, and you're listening to Stories, Lies, and Shenanigans. Come on, you know what time it is. That's right, this is that exciting dude, and you know the drill. It is time for the podcast intro. I swear, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to have like a couple of different versions, I think, so you just don't know what version you're going to get. Alright, like I said, if you don't already know, you're at the podcast called Stories, Lies, and Shenanigans. I'm your captain speaking, that exciting dude, or as some people say, Ted. Alright, along with the welcome to the podcast, you know the drill. Let's hit the follow button, bell, whistle, raccoon, whatever it is that you do on the platform that you're on. I don't know them all by heart, so that's why I'm just kind of covering everything. Like, share, do all that good stuff. Let's reach some people. Obviously, to hear this awesome voice, moi, you are either listening via Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Castbox, and or Podchaser. I think, keyword is I think, I might have it on Apple. I'm not totally positive. I think I finally got the final things down. I have not checked it totally, so I don't know if that's a very confirmed. And I know you might be thinking, like, why are you telling me all of these platforms? Because maybe you found this on a different platform, and actually I keep forgetting YouTube. It's on YouTube as well. And the reason why I tell you all these platforms, because maybe you heard this through somebody, and you're like, oh, I kind of like that, but I really don't want to download this program just to listen to them. So that's why I still say everything out there, because maybe all your music's on iHeartRadio, so it's like, oh, I don't have to use Amazon Music to listen to this podcast. I can listen it, junk it in with all of my music. That's why I do that. Lastly, we need to give thanks to Brock Hewitt, Stories in Sound, called Ages Ago. And the next one is called Heartsman, and the song is called Paradise Island. And lastly, the person or group or whatever they're called is called Tropicana, and the sound is called Sound Roll. And those last three, those are all from Uppbeat.com, UPPBEAT.com. Alright, so I actually have notes down. I've been doing good at this, like getting notes down so we know what to talk about. I can keep a flow going and, keep things rolling and going in the podcast. But before we get started, so I thought at Uppbeat, I thought I had another 3 downloads. I was like, sweet, we're going to get some Halloween background music because it is Halloween right now. Obviously, it's going to be the day past Halloween. It's going to be November 1st when you're listening to this, or later if you don't catch it right when it comes out. And I was going to get some background music, but when I went on Uppbeat, I'm only cleared for 1 background music. And I was just like, I really don't want to spend it for a Halloween-y, background-y music, so I decided to just kind of say, I don't think so. So, no background Halloween music. Alright, so, you know what I like to do right off the bat? I like to get it done with and over with and through and all that good stuff, and that is sports. So here's time for the sprinkle of sports. If you don't want to listen to sports, just skip ahead like 3 to 5 minutes. Probably more like 3 minutes. I really don't know the time limit that I spend in sports. I try to quickly keep it brief and quickly and to the point. So alright, so here we are with the sports. So in college football, I am not going to lie. The only people that I paid attention to was my Notre Dame football team, which they won big against Pittsburgh. What I mean by big is it's so big that I don't even remember what the score was, but it was something like, I want to say like 54-0 or like 54-3, maybe 6. Like I said, big. My Detroit Red Wings, the last couple days, actually last night they did win, but before that they were on a 3-game losing streak, so they're still in an awesome place. They're still doing great, but it's the beginning of the season, so we can take the L's. We can take the L's, but not too many L's. But they're doing great. So now switching to the National Football League, or NFL, there were a couple of surprising games. One not so surprising, but the other really surprising. So the one that was really surprising is the Broncos, that were, I think, 2-5, are now 3-5. Because they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have thunk that? Actually, I know why they lost. It's because what everyone is saying. Because Taylor Swift was not in a booth watching Travis Kelce. Then lastly, the Bengals beat the 49ers. Which honestly, the 49ers, they're top prospects are starting to get banged up. McCaffrey wasn't playing. Looks like Joey Burrows, the quarterback for the Bengals, finally showed up and started playing. And that one's not like oh my god, they won. That one's just like okay, 49ers lost to the Bengals, so it looks like the Bengals are starting to show up. And then finally, my Detroit Lions, for the Monday Night Football game, they defeated the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll say it was like 26-14, 26-16, 26-17, something like that. It was a good game. Little lackluster moments, but it was a good game overall. It was a good game because the Lions got the L. Then lastly, the World Series is going on right now. I believe it is Game 3 right now as we speak. And I'm getting it up live right now as we speak. Oh, I don't like the ads that are popping up on MLB. Let's see. Texans is leading the series 2-1. Right now it says end of the 6th. So I'm assuming it's going to the top of the 7th inning. The Texans are winning 10 runs to the Arizona Diamondbacks that only have 1. I believe this is a out of... Well, if it's 2-1, then I've already had 3 games down, so this is 4, 5, 6. So it's out of 7, so the best one, well, the first one to 4. So there'll definitely be another game tomorrow for sure. But the Texans so far are whooping the kahunas out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Alright, and that's it for sports. That is it for that. We can turn my little page of my notes here. I actually have physical notes. So what did we do last week? I know last week's podcast I kept pondering the whole Magic Con, to go or not to go, and there's still no updates on the Magic Con for Chicago section of the Magic Con website. So still waiting on those results and really what I'm feeling. Found a couple more people that do want to go to it. So now the the itch of going a little bit more. But we'll still wait to see where the prices fall versus what they were in other cities. Which it doesn't seem like it's really changing city to city. They all seem to be the same. So we'll see. We're going to see where that goes. So last week, let's see. I had some. There were some fun streaming points with the boys, with the gang. Not everybody of the gang, but you know the most people. It was via Twitch, and actually learned something because I had 2 new people, subscribe to me on Twitch, and I noticed my notifications, like anyone that is a familiar Twitch, when someone follows and like this, a graphic erupts typically, and I noticed like the graphics didn't erupt. And when I use OBS Studio, basically there's 2 platforms that I use. I use Streamlabs and OBS. Long story short is, for whatever reason, Twitch, my things are not working when I use OBS Studio, and which is the platform that I actually like. I like using that one versus Streamlabs. But Streamlabs is where I have it set up where if I do pay, I can multi-stream 2 other platforms at the same time, which is what I think I'm going to pay another $20 to do another 30 days and to really stream in the coming up month. Well, actually tomorrow's the 1st, so maybe I'll buy it tomorrow, so I just know I'm good for the whole month of November. The weather is a little hokey right now. As I mentioned earlier, it is Halloween, and it is snowing outside as well. I don't think I indulged you in that factoid. And the reason why I say factoid, because it is fact. You look outside and the white shit's all over the place. I'm excited for it. And I'll tell you why I'm excited for it. Because where I work and what I do at work, I don't like the cold rain. I'm not saying I'm like not liking the cold rain, which is really what it is. I mean, water and what we do water and paper don't exactly go together, for one thing. And then, just cold rain. It's like, no. That's why I'm like, I like the snow. Because the snow you can just brush off. Cold rain, you don't. You just soak that in and you get cold. Agua. Yes, water is the choice that I am choosing once again. I've been drinking a lot more water lately. And I'm not saying that in like a bad way, like, oh, here I am drinking water again. But I definitely don't meet the 8 cups every day. I do believe I get pretty darn close. And like what I mean is I definitely hit the 6 cups every day. But I don't know if I quite get to the 8 a day. I mean, there's been a couple days where I'm sure I have. But okay. So yeah, so we had some fun streams. I mean, and what I mean by fun streams is I take these certain gummies that will just say gives you that sensation of they just make you feel great. You're just in your own little realm. And you're just in a happy world, in a happy place, doing happy things. Or on Friday's stream, as I ended it, you're passed out because you were up at like 4:30 a.m. that morning. And you're trying to make it to like midnight with the boys. But instead, you just pass the out. It happens. It seems to be the new thing anyway. You go on TikTok and there's all these people. You go on TikTok at like midnight or like in the middle of the night. You can't sleep. Pardon me. You go like in the middle of the night. There's like so many people that are alive that are just like sleeping. It's like the new fad. It's like watch me stream while I sleep. Which I've been tempting. Maybe I need to set up a stream on Twitch for that exciting dude sleeping. I think I might have to do that. I really do. Gain so many followers, the people that watch me just sleep. I don't know if they like that though, because I snore. Yeah. I don't know. No, there was one person that I watched for like 30 seconds. They were snoring really good. Like I thought I snored. I was like, dang. There was a female too. I was like, dang, she snores. She is my kind of people. And then we had Saturday with the boys again. And I don't know why, but you know what? I just finished the rest of my special little gummies and had another very good night. Not a very strong stream that night. I think I streamed for like an hour and a half. But, still had some fun. Streamed a little. Had a good time. Alright, this is going to be ages ago for the background. I think I always let you know when it's those new sounds. Alright, so fun streaming with the boys. Am I going to do it this week? Probably not. Since my weeks shuffle of when I work and don't work. Because last week, Friday and Saturday, I had off the next days. Where on this week, I have Thursdays and Fridays off because I work the weekend. So probably no gummies this week. I might keep it to an every other week because it's a good time. It's a very good time. Alright, done with that bullet point. See, I got bullet points of what to talk about. I sort of touched on this one. So like I said, today's Halloween. It's October 31st, and the snow is sticking. Last I knew it was sticking. I haven't looked out recently. But it's supposed to stick through the night-ish. I don't know what tomorrow's supposed to be for our weather-wise. But it's going to all be melting here in a second. Because I want to say on Thursday, it's supposed to be like in the 50s. I know Friday it's supposed to in the weekend. So, don't worry. The snow will not be here for long. But yeah, I mean, everyone's out there trick-or-treating, and half of them kids probably don't even have their... I'll rephrase that. They have their costumes on, but they're dressed up like Kenny from South Park. Just... or better yet, the kid Christmas Story. Just being very warm because of the very cold, snowy weather. Not as much as in Grand Rapids and than there is in Muskegon and Holland where I work. Basically on the lakeshore there's much more because you get the lake effect. So that's why there's so much more at work. So it was definitely fun driving home today from work. But once you reach like that halfway mark, then it was like easy peasy. It was just wet pavement at that point with a good dusting on everything. So, it was almost back up to full speed coming home. So that was very good. Didn't take as long. But tomorrow I got a plan for the ride tomorrow morning because I don't know what it's doing right now. I wrote the same bullet point twice. I thought I had more topics then. Looks like we might have to improvise in a little bit. We might have to improvise. So as I said, with the snow, see, normally in Michigan, and probably anywhere else that it snows, you get that first snow of the season, and you get so many people that are like, oh, what's this stuff again? I don't know how to drive. Like, normally people are like very erratic and idiots when they're driving in snow or slippery weather associated with it getting into the winter months. And there's a lot of slide-offs here and a lot of slide-offs there, and I didn't notice one the whole way home. And I have a good stretch of highway coming home. So at least on my stretch, I didn't notice crap. So I was like, sweet. And there weren't even a lot of idiots that were going like beyond the speed of sound. Because there's always them few that are doing it. Again, it was on my stretch from Holland to Grand Rapids. So I was very surprised that society wasn't full of the 90% of idiots that drive, especially on the first snow day. Like, everybody was like, "Oh crap! It's really snowing good. We need to slow down." I was like amazed. I was like, someone needs to videotape this because I guarantee you the next time it snows, I'm not going to have this luck. You have to watch out for the idiots. Agua time. Well, that's what happens. That's what goes on. And if you don't see that, then you're just one lucky individual that apparently live around a bunch of smart people. And apparently today everyone, like I said, was smart, where typically they're not smart. There's always the idiots that fly down the roads or whatever, and it's like sleeting or it's, whatever the condition of the road outside of like rain, because as I got closer to home, it just became wet pavement, like I mentioned. I think I mentioned that, but and it was easy. I didn't get back up to the 70, but I think a lot of us, were like at the 60 miles per hour mark before I finally got off the highway and made way home. But yeah, like hardly any idiots. I mean, like everyone was slowing down, everyone was going moderately, and people that were slower were in the correct lane, and I wasn't an idiot to people because it was the first snow of the season, so I couldn't be a nuisance to anybody. I had to be a good boy, and I was a good boy. I was a good boy on the road. Which is why I treated myself to a soda at dinner time, because normally I always have water, except for my Sunday gatherings. I think it's like once or twice I've had water then. But pretty much I have water 6 days of the week, and Sundays I splurge, I always have a beer. Or an alcoholic beverage. Alrighty, so surprised, no idiots on the road, check mark. We have checked everything on my list to talk about, and there's no story. I noticed the stories have been lacking the last few weeks. I need to get back to stories versus the whole life story of the last week. I do like doing the whole stories of the last week. Maybe I gotta put those to 2 weeks and then do an actual story then 2 weeks, do an actual story. Maybe we'll start trying that. We'll do the 1 and the 2 and the 2 and the 1. Or 1, 2, 1, 2. So we'll talk about what happened the last 2 weeks for the 2 weeks. So like next week I'll do a story, maybe cover a point or two. And then the following week I'll talk about what happened this coming up week and that week leading up to the podcast. If that makes sense to you. Maybe I'll try that strategy. I'm not going to write that down here. I got to put that in my virtual notes. I don't know. What do you think? Like I said, I know I've been kind of getting away of the stories. And, yeah, as I'm clicking my pen into the mic, and you probably can totally hear it. And it's probably annoying. So if you want to let me know, you can go to YouTube, That Exciting Dude, and you can click on the latest episode and leave in the comments, like, do you like where this is going? Do you like what this is doing? Get back to the stories. No stories. Some stories. I don't know. We're going to figure this out as we go along. Of what's a good method. What's a good method to this madness of a slightly organized podcast that we have going on here. Because remember, having outlines just kind of became a little thing for me about 3 weeks ago. So, and I think that it's a good thing. I really do think it's a good thing. But yeah, so let me know on YouTube. It's That Exciting Dude. And then you'll watch for whatever title. I don't know what my title will be for this one because I don't have those planned. I just run with something, make it fun, wacky, crazy. I make it kind of stand out to the point where it's like, I'm hoping I kind of make people like shake their head like, what the heck is this about? So yeah, I'm all spent. We're at the 27, no, let's say 28 mark. So I think we're good to go here. So we'll let Punky time out here. I got 30 seconds left to talk about some miscellaneous stuff. So as we're talking to the end of the background music, you can go ahead and you can, as I mentioned, I stream on Twitch. I'm trying to make that a regular deal. Twitch, it is thatexcitingdude.com. Just look for the cowboy person in a pink hat. And that is all I'm going to say about that. There's a big story behind it, but we will visit that in another time. Alright everybody, you know the drill. If you've made it this far, thank you, and we'll catch you next week. This is That Exciting Dude, and you know the drill. You just listen to stories, lies, and shenanigans. You know the drill. Like it, share it, tell your friends about it. Let's get some more people involved in this. And I'm out.